Do you want to know what it is? It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth? That Hollywood hates heroes, you fucking idiot. Well, I wasn't expecting to make this video, certainly not so early on in my channel anyway, but, you know, with the likes of She-Hulk and Rings of Power, it kind of expedited the need to make this. Hollywood has a problem. It's lost the ability to write good, strong, powerful female protagonists. Now, why is this? If we look back on this, I think it's likely to have stemmed from the Me Too movement back in 2017, which blew up and saw the likes of Harvey Weinstein arrested for being a sexual predator to young, aspiring actresses by abusing his position as a big movie producer and co-founder of Miramax Entertainment. This piece of shit got 23 years imprisonment for this, and everyone was fucking happy about it. What should have followed, with the momentum of the Me Too movement in Hollywood, should have been better respect for women and more balance when it came to bigger roles and where they could, you know, flex their acting muscles. Not to say women couldn't already do this, it was just men still dominated the arena regarding big budget films and bigger paychecks. You know, this was something that needed to change. However, it seems something went wrong, and it seemed to affect the heroes of our films and TV shows. It was like the writers suddenly had something more important to write about other than the actual characters and the story.
The message.
It was first noted when the female protagonist changed. Gone was the character arc of someone struggling with a particular trait, maybe being scared or weak, or struggling with a particular situation, being held back or abused. And instead we were given women who were already great at everything, with little to no weaknesses, and certainly no character arcs for them to fail and then learn to do better. As a byproduct of this, their personalities seemed to evaporate as well. Our first female protagonist to suffer this was Captain Marvellous, played by ever so miserable Brie Larson, a woman who's been known to suck all the air out of a room. Here, Captain Marvellous was just that, marvellous. We were introduced to her waking up on another planet, and she spars with her officer only to get pissed off and blast him across the room, showing she is already the more powerful out of the two. This is actually a bad start to this film, as we find out in the end he's the main protagonist, so when they square up at the end, we know he hasn't got a chance. Captain Marvellous' personality wasn't available at this time either. She was quite bland, and I think, to be fair, that was probably more Brie than the character. The character itself was arrogant, could do no wrong, and had zero flaws, who knew best. There was also an offshoot of this writing too. With bigging up the women to be the holiest of holy, the men started to be deconstructed and were seemingly turning into more stupid versions of themselves, a bit like one-dimensional NPCs in a computer game. In Captain Marvellous, we saw Nick Fury being outwitted by Brie at every turn, and then getting his eye scratched out by a fucking cat.
You serious?
After the personality disorder that was Brie Larson, we had our next insufferable Mary Sue. This possibly the biggest and worst of them all. It was Rey, from Disney's abysmal Star Wars trilogy. This character was one of the final nails in the Star Wars coffin. Here we had a character that made Mother Teresa look like fucking Myra Hindley.
Hey! Fuck off!
She was perfect in every way. She learnt the Force in record time, beat Luke Skywalker in a duel, could fix any machine she touched.
I bypassed the compressor.
Could convert anyone to her way of thinking, even if they didn't agree. She didn't have an arc. She didn't need one. I'm Skywalker. No, you're not, cunt. You're a Palpatine.
Hey! Fuck off!
And again, that same thread regarding men seeped through. Every man in this film was a one-dimensional NPC. Stupid, couldn't finish what they started, was made to look a mockery, as the women continued to outshine them all. There have been many more since, the more notable ones being Galadriel from Rings of Power.
There's a tempest in me.
Someone so insufferable that after the first 2 hours of Rings of Power, 80% of viewers couldn't stand her, not even her own mother.
Disgusting!
And why was this? What was to do with the fact that she, like the others, had no arc? She was already the best. She was arrogant and manipulative. She didn't care about anyone other than herself. She was as strong as any man could be, and she could best any man, all men, in a fight. After all, she was the slayer of orcs. It didn't help, of course, that Morphy Clark has about as much acting range as Tessa Thompson.
Ha! Gay!
The next on the list is the abomination that is She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters. A character so awful that she finds it a chore to help anyone as the Hulk. Whines about nearly everything. When fighting people, she tries to kill them. Again, she was perfect. She was able to take control of She-Hulk instantly and could do anything better than the Hulk. She doesn't seem to have a problem destroying property and leads a vapid and materialistic life, sleeping with guys for half a bag of chips, and is happy to take the piss out of a disabled person's clothes. And mean it, because he's blind and can't dress or buy nice clothes for himself. themselves. This is the type of female protagonist that we've seen throughout TV and films over the last 5 years, ranging from Mulan's live-action remake through to Thor and Natalie Portman's fucking horrific Mighty Thor character. We've also seen it with Wanda, with Charlie's Angels reboot with the 3 little midgets beating up guys twice their size and weight. I mean, to the point it was so comically bad, it just became totally unbelievable. Now, you might think at this point I'm being a misogynistic piece of shit for even daring to badmouth female characters.
You're goddamn right.
However, this would be untrue, as it's the badly written characters that I don't like, be it male or female. The female characters we've seen post-2017 are a far cry from the earlier counterparts that I loved. As far as great female characters go, we have an absolute plethora of them, to the point it's comical to think there weren't any strong women before Captain fucking Marvellous. And to prove that, I've got a little list for you, in no particular order, of great female strong characters. We have Sarah Connor. Ripley.
Get away from her, you bitch!
The Bride.
This is what you get for fucking around with Yakuzas! Go home to your mother!
Ellie Driver. Over Nishi. Vanita Green. Gogo Yubari. Mulan. Samantha Kane.
Thanks. Tell anyone you saw me. I'll blow your fucking head off.
Yi Shaolin. Jen. Fox.
I'm sorry?
You apologize too much.
Elastigirl, Rita Fataski, Jackie Brown, Charlie's Angels, Thelma and Louise, G.I. Jane, Trinity, Catherine Trammell, Lilu, Wonder Woman, Xena, Warrior Princess, Dana Scully,
You son of a bitch!
Hermione Granger, Daenerys, Katniss Everdeen, Cersei Lannister, Jessica Jones, Furiosa, The Charmed Girls, Captain Janeway, Princess Leia,
Short for a stormtrooper.
and finally Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Now I feel better.
And there you have it, 35 strong, well-written characters, to name but a few, that men and women loved because the writers respected and loved the characters they wrote about.
You're goddamn right.
As I said at the beginning, it's not only the female protagonist that suffered, but the male hero also suffered too. It seems men agency has been taken from them, and they seem to have been turned into fucking retards.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Our legacy characters, that people have grown to love, have suddenly been deconstructed. Once strong, intelligent, brave, empathetic characters are now weaker, stupid, cowardly and uncaring. For example, Thor has become Mr. fucking Chuckles in his movie. His brother Loki is now a little bitch who seemed to become the face of the Me Too movement by getting punched in the face and kicked in the balls for hours. Hulk was cucked and suddenly a bit of a surfer dude and couldn't put newly acquired She-Hulk in her place. The boys in Rings of Power needed to take heed and advice from all of their female cast.
Come at me.
Come at me, bro!
Kenobi, the bumbling space fool who turned his back on the Jedi and was suddenly a fucking idiot, who neglected his one and only primary objective of that of looking after Luke, instead deciding to go on space adventures with a 9-year-old girl.
You dirty fecker.
Boba Fett, the pensioner who looked like he'd have trouble taking a shit, having to be guided around by his female sidekick. Bond became a sensitive soul, an older man struggling and needing the help of women by his side to finish what he started, leaving his girlfriend and daughter to carry on his legacy. And every man in She-Hulk being unrelatable fucktards who have less personality than Tessa Thompson.
Come at me, bro!
Granted, there is a large pattern to the above, and that majority stems from Disney. However, it's not exclusively Disney that does this. Amazon, Netflix, Warner Brothers, all of them, they're all guilty of it. And what are they guilty of?
The message.
They're guilty of following the same formula, that of women as untouchable forces of nature, and men as stupid bumbling fools that need women to help them. Yet, it's never the other way around. Men can't be seen to train women, or hit women, or really help women in a fight. And when you actually take the time to look at what's happening with our heroes and the stories, you can then understand why all of these shows and movies are tanking hard. And you can see then where films such as Top Gun and Northman, or TV shows like Reacher or The Terminal List get praise from you guys, the people that count, not the fucking shill media who try to be best friends with the studio so they can get their early access passes and goodie bags. Fucking bellends. When studios put ideology and social engineering into their content over a good story and characters, this is the reaction you get, and it's what you're seeing now. People don't want to watch this, and they're showing you this by not paying to go and watch your dog shit. So Hollywood, it's plain to see your course correction is actually quite simple. Remove the ideology and remove the social engineering. Don't get us wrong, we appreciate you felt you had to do a hard correction for all the raping and sexual abuse you casually ignored.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! No! That is not happening right now!
But you've gone so far the other way that you've now become the thing you tried hard not to be. That of a progressive, racist and sexist community. Yet you still fail to see what you've become as you live in your little LA bubble filled with yes, men, women and 75,000 other genders.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
However, are we starting to see a course correction? Possibly. Shows and films are not getting sequels, and we've even heard of Warner Brothers canning Batgirl. That was 95% complete, pretty much ready to go out the door, cost 90 million, and they fucking scrapped it. Because, and I'm paraphrasing, we want to protect the DC brand. Basically saying, we don't want this woke piece of shit destroying what's left of our brand. There have been a lot of rumblings of shows being cancelled through various outlets. Woke shows not getting renewed, such as The Sandman, Resident Evil, Batwoman, Westworld, Cowboy Bebop, Picard, and Umbrella Academy, to name a few. There's another bad aspect to all of this as well, and it's the actors and actresses getting caught in the middle of all this, whose reputations are basically being damaged for being associated with these shows. Some may deserve it for how vocal they like to be. Others you can appreciate. They're probably saying stupid shit just to keep in favour with Hollywood. However, long term, that could really bite them in the arse. As Clifton Duncan said on The Real BBC, these actors are just cannon fodder for the cultural wars happening right now. And he's right. Personally, I don't believe studios have lost enough money yet to fully course correct, especially Disney, which holds two once amazing IPs that is now slowly destroying.
You flipped too hard, damn it!
I think the course correct is 5 to 10 years still. At the end of the day, until that woke rot has been removed from studios, there won't be much change. We do get glimpses of hope though. Tom Cruise, who is the GOAT when it comes to an action hero, is still producing films with great characters and storylines.
Fuck was that?
A man who's now in his 60s, drawing his fucking pension if he wanted to, is doing stunts that most men and women would shit their pants attempting. He's a man who knows how to and wants to entertain. And luckily for us, he has enough influence, it seems, to do that. I imagine the likes of Quentin Tarantino and one or two other actors and directors could have the influence to do the same, and that's great. Tom Cruise impressed us and wowed everyone with Top Gun. Can he do the same for the next Mission Impossible? Let's hope so. But what do you guys think? Can you see a course correction happening sooner, later, or not at all? What films do you think have released post-2017 that are all about story and characters? I'll give you one, June. But hey, let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can catch up.